Hi guys, so I wanted to do something a little more visual for you guys. I personally am a visual learner, so I wanted to give you the 411 on this full moon in Libra. Now, first things first, check where you have 16 degrees of Libra in your birth chart. We all have all 12 signs already existing in our birth charts. Each house represents a different area of life. And when we talk about a full moon, this takes place when the moon sits directly across from the sun and it becomes illuminated by the sun's light. Now, oppositions are already a symbol of what is lacking balance. And we're literally referring to a moon that has everything to do with harmony, justice, balance, relationships, contractual agreements, all of that fun stuff, compromise. Now, with this moon being in Libra, it's important to look at where Venus is because that's the ruler of Libra. But more importantly, we have a super interesting conjunction here between the Sun and Chiron. Now, Chiron is the wounded healer, and Chiron, despite being a little bit heavy in the sense that it shows us where we are sort of vulnerable or where we lack healing or where we still hold on to a grudge or a past resentment, this is shaped like a key because it also has the power to unlock our greatest potential. Nevertheless, there are 3 planets in Aries. Aries is a sign that has everything to do with taking action, asserting ourselves, going after what it is that we desire, our autonomy, everything that has to do with being a leader in our lives, right? Libra, on the other hand, is all about companionship, leaning on someone for support, and also being open to being supportive for someone else as well. Are you compromising? Are you willing to compromise? Every relationship takes work, and this full moon is illuminating relationships that need more balance, whether it be from their end or from our end, where we might still be holding on to something or there's something that isn't necessarily aligned with our authenticity, with our autonomy. This full moon is also shedding light on the values, because we have Venus in Taurus, the values surrounding our relationships. Are we getting those needs met? Are these relationships and partnerships in alignment with what it is that we truly value? Now, when we talk about Taurian energy, Venus loves to be in Taurus, Venus also loves to be in Libra, but Venus in Taurus is about what is tangible and secure and solid in our world. It's also very financially friendly, so to speak. So this could have something to do with a financial agreement or something that is pending for you that maybe you're waiting to hear back from. So it's important to see where Venus is located in your chart at the moment, where Taurus is located, where Libra is located, and of course Aries, because the influence of Aries is sort of that, on your mark, get set, go, right? It's fast moving, it's swift, it wants to take action, it might even get impatient. But this Libra moon is letting us in on what is still lacking that healthy equilibrium in order for us to catapult forward and take action and commit to a solid plan. Now, Mars, it's also important to look at Mars because we're talking about a Mars-ruled season and we have 3 planets in a Mars-ruled sign. Mars is currently in Cancer. Now, Mars in Cancer, it's not that it's terrible, right? Traditional astrology refers to it as it being in its detriment. I personally was born with a Mars at its fall. I have a Mars in Pisces. Mars doesn't necessarily like to be in water unless it's in Scorpio, because that's Scorpio's traditional ruler. But Mars in Cancer tends to be a bit indirect with its anger and its, its actions, like because it's moving in an emotional and an intuitive way. The actions of Mars in Cancer can be a bit emotionally volatile or moody or obscure because it's in a water sign. The good news is Mars is aspecting Saturn, and that is actually really helpful because Saturn helps stabilize and helps bring stability to what it is that we're trying to act on. Saturn in Pisces is also providing a sense of, I used it in the article, kind of like a subliminal support system, a subliminal inner knowing and intuition that is guiding us. Like things might not necessarily, excuse me, be making sense with this partnership or this new epiphany that you're having around a connection or you know, anything that you're ready to break away from or perhaps even commit to. We might not necessarily have all the facts around this union, but this Saturn in Pisces connecting to Mars is like a strange sort of validation that is validating our intuition. Like it's almost like stay still, be steady, kind of similar to what we were talking about yesterday in the full moon chat. So this is actually really, really helpful. There may be some sort of wound here or wounding when it comes to being recognized or having that sense of autonomy and being confident in that sense of autonomy. But there's a little bit of, I feel like even like, man, I dare say like family dynamics or perhaps even a little bit of resentment, because I'm not gonna lie, this Mars in Cancer can be a little bit resentful. I get it, I'm a Cancer. And if you have Cancer placements or if you have this Mars placement, it is what it is. There's something that's coming up for review here, but it's important that we acknowledge and we confront what it is that is still hurting us or that is still blocking us from this commitment and from committing to it confidently and for the long haul, okay? Something else that I want to point out that I just remembered, well, several things because I figured I'd forget something, but Chiron entered Aries in 2018. So if you look back to then and now, how have you been healing a core wound that has to do with your identity, with your sense of, you know, leadership, your autonomy, your authenticity, your desires? There's a lot of that happening, and we're all healing. We're all healing somewhere because we all have Aries in our chart, and Chiron is at 15 degrees. So it's important for us to reflect on that when it comes to this this full moon, just because it's literally sitting across just a degree away, but it's right next to the sun. So something is being illuminated here, and it definitely speaks to that core wounding. Mercury is also making a sextile to Saturn, and this is sort of like a wake-up call in a way as well. And it's very straight shooting in the sense that Mercury in Taurus, it's not going to beat around the bush. Mercury in Taurus knows that there's a sort of like a sacrifice here or a conversation or something that is very honest that needs to take place. And it is what it is, because Saturn in Pisces at the end of the day, it's kind of encouraging us to have faith in the unknown. Pisces is very subliminal, speaking of, and it's also spiritual. So there's something here that we just know that we need to take action on, commit to, speak our mind about, or get clear on. And I feel like this full moon is helping us do that. Uranus is also in Taurus. It's been revolutionizing our values since 2018. And, you know, back to Chiron, we're talking about an energy that is very about the misfit or the misunderstanding or the lack of recognition. Like that's the kind of Chiron energy we're referring to. It's not always fun to be in that predicament, and not all of us are in that predicament per se, but just to give you more context. Also, we can't forget that Pluto's already in Aquarius. Even though it's its first official ingress, we are already recognizing where values, especially since it made a square to Mercury, where our values are no longer aligning with our community. What community affairs, what friendship groups, and it doesn't even have to be friends. I mean, who wants to like break away from friends? That's never fun, right? But if it's not an actual friendship group, if it is, I'm sorry, right? If it's a community that you've been connected to for many years, that kind of sucks, right? But this could also be something like a future vision, a goal, a network, something professional that you're no longer resonating with, that even though it brings you money and it brings you stability, you're starting to take a closer look at it and say, well, do I really fit in this situation, or am I just comfortable? Am I really committed to flourishing and pursuing this long-term dream and vision for the sake of my comfort? Does it really align with who I am? Those are all the questions that we're asking ourselves, okay? I hope this helped. I'm gonna upload it real quick and wish me luck, but I'll see you guys soon.